Kimchi. This is Prashant here. I am the head chef at Mechanic and Sajman, and today we are going to make a dish called risotto, which is from Italy, and it's a dish which is made with a specific Italian rice. There are a couple of rices you can use to make the dish, but most common one is Aripirala, but a better rice which I would recommend is Carnaroli, which is a rice. It is similar to Aripirala, but it is a little bit more expensive. The reason being, it holds its shape when you cook it. It holds its shape better, and it gives you a better silky and smooth finish when you make a risotto. It has a higher amount of starch content, so when you cook, it gives you more silky, creamy kind of texture of the rice, and also it is a bit safer to cook. I'm going to make this dish into two stages. The first stage, I'm going to start with a small starter or activator, I call it in my own terms. Activator, I call it because it activates all your senses, the flavor. Then what I did is I took the whole kimchi, cabbage, and then dehydrated it, and it came out something like this, as you can see. That's total crisp. It's a whole kimchi crisp. You can hear it. Beautiful. Carnaroli rice, and this is our starter, the activator which I called. And here comes the main course. To start with, we're going to take a pan and melt some butter or an olive oil and add the onions. Make sure you don't brown them. Add your rice once the onions sweat, and then saute the rice, and then add your vegetable stock in batches as the rice absorbs. You can overcook the rice because we're going to make it a crisp, and then once the rice is cooked, you put it in a blender. Make it into a very smooth paste because we're going to make a crisp, and that's how it will look. And then spread it in a dehydrator and tray. Spread it evenly as thin as possible, and then leave it in the dehydrator for at least for 12 hours. Once that's dry, we deep fry it and shape it into as required. Here I'm going to use 2 ladles to shape them like that. You can see once they're fried, they really puff up and come up quite well, and they're quite stable. They're quite strong and very smooth. Okay, let's start our kimchi risotto. For that we would need again your olive oil and butter, and sweat the onions. Once the onions are sweat and release flavor, the raw flavor is gone, add your rice, and again Carnaroli rice, which is very good and recommended rice for risotto. It comes out really nice. When the rice is all fried or cooked nicely, then you add your stock in batches. Make sure you add the stock in batches in one by one, and not to put all the stock together. As you just saw, that's our vegetable stock. As you can see, the rice is absorbing the stock, then we add more stock in batches. Let the rice cook. You can see the rice is cooked when you see the grains are swelled up, and then the white color in the rice has come out. So that's when you can see the rice is all cooked. Make sure you keep stirring it so that it doesn't stick at the bottom, and all the rice is cooked evenly. Now the best part, you add your kimchi flakes. Crush the kimchi which we have dehydrated earlier, which is not here, but which I made myself. So this like you crush it straight away onto the rice, then give it a nice mix so that the flavors are all distributed evenly. Once you can see that kimchi, dehydrated kimchi which I dried and made it into a kind of flakes. Mix it up nicely, and then grate the parmesan. Make sure you always grate the parmesan press. Don't grate it and keep it, as oxidization spoils the taste. They get bitter, they lose the flavor and original taste of parmesan. Finally, switch off the gas and fire, and then add some butter and give it a good stir. And that looks like Okay, now is the fun part. It's the assembly of our dish, what we've been working on. Okay, for assembly we need a small bowl and clean film, then just layer the kimchi leaves all around and cover it nicely one by one. As you can see, if you wish to put the red color kimchi on top, that you can do that as well. The kimchi which are younger kimchi leaves, generally they are brighter color. Once the rice is cooled down nicely, you add that kimchi rice in the center and try to form it into a packet. As you can see, the clean film, I'm wrapping it around and then trying to get a proper nice smooth shape. Hold it little by it, secure it, give it a nice shape, turn it around, and then you can use a spring onion, a blanched spring onion, to secure it so it doesn't fall off, it stays strong, as you can see it here. It looks quite nice at this point. Just spread the leaves out so it looks like a kind of, a flower sort of thing. You can take your beautiful kimchi risotto packet. Start our assembly. Put the rice cracker down and then add this kimchi packet in the center carefully. You can add some rice, risotto rice at the bottom just to hold it, and that's the final look it looks. Now we're going to the next stage. We're going to make the sun-dried tomato sauce. For that we would need some ginger, a fresh ginger peeled, some red onion, some whole garlic peeled. You don't have to chop, just roughly cut. We're going to dry roast all these. You don't have to add oil or anything because the sun-dried tomato has a lot of oil. Then you add the sun-dried tomatoes after the dry roast is done. And you can see the oil will be released by the sun-dried tomatoes, so it will cook in that. And finally add your coriander. Just give it a very quick stir, don't cook the coriander way too much. Add your vegetable stock into it and let it cook. Simmer it and let the water get to half of whatever you added, and let all the vegetables get very very soft. Once the garlic is cooked, vegetables are soft, and water is reduced to half. That's pretty much done. As you can see, the color has changed, the tomatoes are released. Then take it off, cool it down a bit, and then blend it. Make it into very very fine smooth paste, kind of smooth sauce, as you can see it here. Leave it in the stove at a very low flame, let it heat up, and then we can use it for our risotto. Meanwhile, we make our mincemeat. This is a vegan meat which I used, and then we start back our risotto again. As you can see, once the onions are sweat, the flavors are released, then you add your rice, give it a nice saute, make sure the rice is cooked evenly, and then you add your stock in batches. As the rice is absorbing stock, then you add more stock in batches. So that's how risotto is cooked. And make sure you clean all the rice on the sides so it doesn't burn, doesn't hard. You don't want a bitter rice grain in your risotto. Add some seasoning, and the vegan meat which we cooked earlier, we just crumble it and mix it in. Cook this for maybe another 1 minute or half a minute maybe. Yeah. And once that is done, you add your interesting thing, the sumac. Close it down, add some sumac. This will really release the flavor. The moment you add sumac in hot risotto, you can actually feel the flavor. And mascarpone cheese to give it that creamy texture. Yes, it really lifts the whole flavor. And butter, you can put them both together and give it a very very nice stir. Mix it up. It will give you very smooth and creamy texture at this moment. Then switch off your gas and then add pomegranate seeds. This pomegranate seeds will give you a little bit sweetness and that bite in the rice when you're eating it. So it actually has a very good feel in your mouth. We start plating by putting the risotto in the mold, form it into a nice shape as you like, and then what I did here is pour the sauce all around it. So it adds the presentation aspect, and that's pretty easy and quite simple. Add some more sumac, garnish it with pomegranate seeds, and that's your final dish. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks a lot for watching.